Do you think we will ever get back to pre-Leicester tranquility and comfort? You know, I was trying to work out, is there a roadmap whereby the families whose homes were attacked, doors were kicked in, symbols of their religious identity were used to identify them for further violence? Do you think those families will ever be able to get back to a situation where they don't have to look over their shoulder, where they're quite comfortable that they're not going to be targeted? Or are we now in a post-Leicester reality? I've had calls from young Hindus and have been working in terms of doing trauma counseling and helping them to come to an understanding that the future is still very much in our grasp and we need to engage. But there is definitely a sense of discomfort and unease. Do you think we'll get back to pre-Leicester days, or will this be a pivotal moment?
I have faith that we can. One of the reasons is that I believe that our belief system, so what is at the core of our beliefs, are principles that are conducive to harmony. So inner harmony, societal harmony, global harmony. And that's not changing about our belief systems. So I think we are ready, we are prepared to be the peace-loving people that we always have been. But what needs to happen now is responsibility needs to be taken. So those who have been involved in this, and there appear to be many that have been involved in this, they need to be held accountable. I think education needs to happen on a lot of these tropes that are being used. And I think conversations need to be had by those in power on how to address this on the kind of widespread scale that we're seeing this. So I think responsibility of the media and reporting factually, and recognizing the real anti-Hindu sentiments that are there across the UK. I think the responsibility of faith leaders from all sides involved in condemning anti-Hindu sentiments and ensuring that they do not hold platforms for these anti-Hindu sentiments to fester further. The responsibility of the authorities in bringing all those involved to account, and of politicians as well. So I think this has been raised in Parliament, and Hinduphobia has been raised in Parliament by Theresa Villiers MP and Bob Blackman MP as well. And I think I saw actually that on the long-standing issue of anti-Semitism, that there was a government committee report that was produced and presented to Parliament, and it influences and dictates policies and investigation of anti-Semitic crimes in the UK. And I don't know if we'll have to, if we'll be in a place where we'll have to do something like this for these Hinduphobic sentiments as well, depending on, you know, I guess the police will drive that depending on their reporting that they've received to actually share how much of a wide-scale issue this is internally.
Okay, I mean, one of the things that comes across to me, Speaker One, is, and I have been sent many messages, I've spoken to many people, not just in Leicester, but in Birmingham and across the country as well. For example, even in Wembley as well. And one of the things that came across very powerfully was that people just felt that they were unable to speak out for fear of either that they would be attacked directly, or that their families or someone within their community would be attacked directly. And it's almost as if the extremists are actually using a toolkit, the toolkit being that you threaten people with very severe consequences of violence, of hatred. As you mentioned, threats of rape to young girls and things like that. Basically, in order to stifle the voice of those who actually wish to tell the truth, the voice of the victims. You obviously come across that as well. And one wonders how social media is actually going to tackle that, because one of the things that I think you mentioned was social media was proactive. And it being proactive, people like, or entities like Twitter, Facebook, and so on, they were not fast enough, if at all, to stop the spread of these lies. And I think there is a lesson for us to actually make it very clear to those entities that they are willfully negligent in their duty of care to the wider community. If this had actually gone completely out of control, it could have led to many, many disasters. Fortunately, we Hindus were in a position to actually absorb so much of this hate and not react. Now, one of the things that comes to my mind is that in Leicester, with Diwali coming, and we're going to have, I hope, as always, 30, 40, 50, 60,000 people on Melton Road rejoicing, bringing not just the Hindu community, but the wider community together to say that Diwali is a time for lighting that diva that actually enlightens people. And we as Hindus always hope that the wider community, especially the extremists, will actually be enlightened sufficiently that they will introspect and consider that maybe the game plan of those ideologies which are alien to this nation should not be brought into this nation. So the fear factor alone is enough to dampen and victimize the victims again. Is that something that you actually come across as well?
Yes. On the point of social media being a platform where a lot of this hate speech went unchecked, I think absolutely the social media companies have a massive responsibility in this as well. I know personally that I had reported many posts with false allegations and hate speech, and a common trope being used is cow urine drinkers, for example, to Hindus, and it just takes one search of this for hundreds of such results using these tropes to come up. And I reported these, and I know many others have reported these over the course of months, actually, because these tropes have been there for a long time as well, and they've not been removed. And I'm just looking now at Instagram's stance on hate speech, and they say here that they ban common anti-Semitic tropes. So they have recognized that anti-Semitism is a huge problem with real life consequences, and that they have a responsibility in combating this. And I think something similar needs to happen on Hinduphobia. So I think Hinduphobia needs to be recognized and monitored. Hinduphobic content needs to be monitored through their monitoring techniques that, flag up hate speech, whether that's through keywords or however they do it. But absolutely, we saw here, and as the study said, online hate speech leads to real world violence, real world events. And it's people that have been seeing things, Hindus that have been seeing things on social media and in real life that have been affected. And this is something that cannot be overlooked.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.